Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Oh, come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Oh, grand rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to another magnificent Monday. I'm so excited that I have some dope guests in the building. I have Derrick and Tanise Love here, the founders of Sync Seattle, and I'm so excited that they are joining me today so we can learn more about them and why they decided to bring these phenomenal networking and community building events to the community. So I'm telling y'all, we're going to be getting into some greatness today, but of course, as you know, it is the top of the show, so this is where you participate in the greatness. Go ahead and share the stream and this show with folks who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we work to provide you here on the Day with Trae. And if you can't watch us, we still have you covered because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and the Day with Trae. You'll find us on whichever platform is your favorite. See, we trying to have everything covered for y'all, so y'all ain't got to worry about missing nothing. Well, you know, before we get into their inspiring story after the break, I'm really excited to just welcome you to another week, and I want to thank you. It's so interesting because, you know, folks are starting to be like, yo, your show. Right? And there's so many people in community who have been doing that since day one. Huge shout out to all of you who've been tapping into Converge Media since we really got going on all of our phenomenal shows and the content we're bringing y'all. But it's so interesting to run into folks who are just now getting into it, right? And I had that experience just recently, and I wanted to share it with you all because you have no idea how encouraging your words are for me as someone who is continuing to be here every single week, just trying to provide amazing content and uplifting stories. And it's one of those things that I always think about it like this, you know, in like 50 years or something, or maybe after I'm gone, you know, the idea is that we have the opportunity to have a sense of agency over how we're sharing stories is so important to me. And I'm grateful because, you know, we've shown y'all, we got some dope interns here in the building, amazing staff here at Converge who are really dedicated to uplifting these empowering and inspiring stories. And who knows what this impact could have years and years to come for future generations. The fact that we are capturing what we're doing right here to stay engaged with one another, be in community, uplift one another, and inspire folks with our own stories is so exciting for me. And so I want to thank all of you who've been giving me love out there. When you see me at an event or you see me out with my kids, it's so beautiful to hear that what we're doing here on the Day with Trae is impacting you in a positive, powerful way. That's really what this is all about. And of course, with anything, you know, we've been putting the groundwork in for a really long time. I don't even know how many hundreds of episodes I've done at this point. But the real story is that as long as we are continuing to bring value to you, you'll continue to tap in. And that's what we're looking to do. You know, if you know of some folks out there who have inspiring stories to share, or some amazing events that are coming up, or maybe a new business owner that we want to uplift, please do not hesitate to let us know here on the Day with Trae. You can actually just email Day with Trae production, I think, or maybe it's just the Day with Trae at whereweconverge.com. Y'all can also find me on Instagram at Trae Holiday. DM me. You know, I'm accessible. I really want all of you out there who are watching to feel like this is your show, right? Like this is your space to uplift the greatness that you're experiencing, that you're participating in, or that you're leading. You know, please don't feel, shy to nominate yourself to come on here. We want to uplift your stories. If you're out there making a positive impact in the community, that's what this is all about. Well, after this short break, y'all, I have the pleasure of talking to Derrick and Tanise Love, who are coming up next. They're going to be sharing their own story and why they started Sync Seattle and what they are bringing to the community. You definitely don't want to miss this. Stay tuned, y'all. You're watching The Day with Trae.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time, watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. You miss me, we gon' get tipsy. Don't need a power shot.
Copy my steal. Face the fact that copy my steal. Face the fact.
Disenrollment is a situation whereby people whose birthright to be indigenous is being stolen from them by politicians that have been elected to lead.
Today, the latest or last chapter of the saga concerns the threatened physical ejectment of as many as 21 Nooksack families from their homes.
I think it come about by hatred for our family. That's what it's all about.
Our bloodline is still here. You know, they can't get rid of us.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, I'm so excited, Derrick and Tanise Love. What up, y'all?
Hey, what's up? What's up? No, we're glad to be here.
So excited to be in this beautiful space.
Thanks for having us.
And with you. Thank you so much.
You know what? I'm really excited because anytime we have folks who come with an innovative idea and they actualize it, I'm like, yes, that's really what helps our community have more touch points, and it's so beautiful. And so, of course, I got to start with your backstory here because y'all just moved here 4 years ago, right, in 2020.
Yep.
And y'all obviously found a need for something. Just kind of give me the background story of how y'all kind of stepped into the Seattle and Pacific Northwest space and what y'all were seeing at that time. I'll start with you, Tanise.
Yeah, so we moved here in November 2020, not knowing anybody, but our story actually begins before that. So we both come from families who have been the socialites, the community builders, the philanthropists, the mamas and daddies of the community. And so that was instilled in us since we were born. Yeah. We met volunteering. And so between our marriage and just our DNA, it's really who we are. Everything about community, everything about being here and showing up for businesses and nonprofits. And so before we moved here, we would always have kickbacks at our house. So we were married, got married in 2014, kind of became that house that people would kick it at. But we would always say, please bring a pair of socks, some underwear, something, like let's collect something for these local nonprofits and neighbors in need. And that kind of just became our thing. So then moving here, we saw, of course, we were trying to be intentional about building our own community, but then we were like, we need to take this outside of the house. And this was actually a voice from God that we had heard 8 years prior to moving here. So like a couple years into our marriage, once we started having those kickbacks in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we moved from, we felt it on our hearts that it wasn't just like having fun, but also getting people to like give stuff to the community. It was really something that we could be doing bigger and better. So I think it really took God uprooting us to move across the country, not knowing anybody, to say like, okay, you guys, we spent about a year kind of building our own community. And I don't care what people say. We love Seattle. We love Black Seattle. Like, Seattle is everything. So after about a year, we were like, you know what? We think it's time to start something. So we were like, let's put on one event. Let's find a Black-led nonprofit and a Black business to support and promote. And let's just see how many people come out. And so our goal was 30 people, and 75 people came. 75 people came. They learned about new organizations, and they also were like, "This feels like a kickback. Like this kind of feels like at home." And I'm like, "That's the vibe that we want to curate." And the one thing that we heard that day was, "Please don't stop. Please keep these events going." People learned about new organizations. People met other people, and so that's really kind of where it started and what inspired us. And yeah, 65 events, and 2 years later, we're just rocking and rolling.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Derrick, when you think about, starting from just kind of ideation phase to actualization and bringing so much of y'all's approach to like being in community from back home in North Carolina, tell us a bit of your perspective on how all of this is kind of flourishing at this point.
Yeah. So if we started that very first event that we had, as Tanise mentioned, we talked about it. We said, what's our goal? 30 people. But I think our perspective shifted during that event. We had 75 people. That's great. I think what we started realizing is, and I'm a numbers guy, I'm a data analytics person. We started looking at the things that you can't quantify.
Yeah.
And the feeling that people have when they leave. So when we say the city's friendliest events, what we mean is, we want you to be able to come out by yourself to it, not knowing anyone, and feel like you've gained a lot just by being there, whether it's new friends, business partners, or romantic interests. At that very first event, we saw that. We were really blessed because Tanise's parents were actually in town when we did that. They were planning their visit. We were trying to plan out, when are we going to do this event? We were like, do you think your parents want to come? Like, if we start this thing, and they were all in on it, like super supportive. They understood why we were doing it because, again, our families are a lot alike. We really believe in community building, both of our families. We believe in bringing people together. And so they got it right then, right? And so, my father-in-law was working the crowd and everything at the event, getting to know everybody. But my mother-in-law, I remember this was at Poco when Poco was still open, upstairs, and she sat in a chair. And at one point, Tanise and I are running around, trying to figure things out, like, oh, do we have enough of the hors d'oeuvres for people? We're doing typical event stuff. It's our first one. We're nervous. Suddenly, we're like, where's all the people at? Where did everybody go? We go upstairs, and they're all sitting around
in a circle.
In a circle around my mother-in-law, and she just got them talking. And we were like, I think we realized then this is what we want it to be. We want it to be a situation where people feel like they can be themselves, they can talk with people, they can really get something out of the event that we have. And so that really set the tone for what we do. That really did, and that lives on with exactly how we move forward with all of our events.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too because I really appreciate something you said there, that you can come by yourself. Mm-hmm. I think there's so many different amazing events, they're curated, but oftentimes if you go alone, you're like, I don't know how to permeate that friend group or this friend group over here. And so the idea that there can be something that's like, yeah, I'm gonna just throw something on, look cool, and go and have a good time is really needed in the city and beyond, really. So I love it. What y'all do too, it reminds me of the old school game nights. We used to have these events that were just called game night, and you could go as a couple, as a single person, whatever. But the idea that playing games together, you get to see a lot of people's personalities, and it really brought out like different things in different folks. And so it's beautiful that y'all have curated this. Now, tell us a little bit about some of the things y'all been able to do for those who don't know, because there's a different vibe, right? There's like day party, there's club style, there's everything is too loud to really talk. Right. What is the kind of vibe that y'all are really putting forth for people to be able to connect?
Yeah, so it's kind of a mixture of everything. So our primary goal, we have 3 goals for each event, is to connect people to people, people to business, and people to nonprofit missions, causes in the community. And so I think when you come into our space, we do liken it to a kickback because it's like, say you're invited to a house party, you might come alone, but you're welcomed into somebody's home. Like you really get the feel of like being at home in a comfortable space where you can connect and you feel comfortable vibing out. And so one of our goals is we always try to talk to every single person that comes to our event. So yes, we're curators. Yes, people may see Sing Seattle and like, wow, they're really doing it. But it's like, no, it's the people that come to our events. It's individuals like you and Converge that, shine a light on what we're trying to do. And so at our events, we greet everybody. We talk to everybody. If somebody mentions something, then we know somebody that can help them, or we just met them and we're like, y'all two need to talk. So when we say networking events and mixers, it really truly is like creating this interconnection, whether that be, again, for romance, for business, for friendships. We're blessed to say we have a couple like best friend groups early on. I think it was maybe our 4th or 5th event where we had 3 different individuals, two who had traveled like an hour, and they were like, oh, I heard about Sync, let me come. And they all met at that event. And now a year later, they're like, they kick it tough. They just went on a vacation, I think. And so our goal is to really like create a vibe that, one, you can turn up because we have fun. We have a good old time. But you're going to leave knowing about a local Black-led cause, whether that be like a for-profit business or a local mission. And so our goal is to just create this atmosphere where you feel comfortable showing up fully as your whole self. You don't have to front. You can come as relaxed as you want. You can come as dressed up as you want, because at the end of the day, it's all about like really connecting people to people and things that matter.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think just from the actual event perspective, so we have 2 recurring events, and they're not alike. One is the Vibes After 5, which is our staple networking event. That's what we started with, and we didn't have it named that yet, but we came up with that and we said, let's roll with it, the 3rd Thursday of every month. And that one generally feels more like a club feel, but it's not. So what we wanted it to be is a networking event that's not like, hey, bring your tie and good to meet you. We didn't want it to be that. We wanted it to be, come as you are, be yourself, be your authentic self. We'll have a DJ, a dope DJ, DJ Twilight, is usually there spinning. And we just want people to feel at home at it. And, when you feel at home, you can open up about who you are, what you're going through, what you need, what you're looking for. So a lot of those intentional conversations happen. Then we also have Sunday Fun Day. You think about Sundays for a lot of people, there's worship, there's that stuff that we do, right? But then there's also, we're getting ready for the week.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I can tell you this from my perspective, I've experienced this at our Sunday Fun Day, where I just had a rough week the previous week. And I don't even know if I feel like going in, the next day. But we're really trying to cultivate joy in people. So we have a different fun event during that. We will have food available, fun event. Again, vibes with a DJ. Where we usually do that at a Black-owned bar in West Seattle, Revelry Room. And it's just an amazing opportunity for us to come together and, hey, clear your mind, have some joy before the week, get yourself ready. And so those are 2 different types of events, but they're recurring. They're things that we know people are looking forward to. Yeah. And we've also done some one-off things where we've created experiences, partnering with some businesses, to make sure that we're covering different interests. So, for example, we have what's called Kayak and Kickback coming up on August 4th. And that's going to be an opportunity for us to get together as people. Some of us who've never kayaked before. I've never kayaked. I'm looking forward to it. But we're going to kayak together. We're partnering with Lace Up Joy, who specializes in bringing our people to the outdoors and outdoor types of activities. And we're going to make it one of our style events where we're going to be kayaking. We're going to have music playing. We're going to have good food, games, things where we can just really relate and relax and get together. So that's the idea is, these recurring events, but then also how can we create experiences just highlighting different things that we can do. We may not do a whole lot of, or we may not have thought to do this, but we're bringing each other together, and we're having fun doing it in our way.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned some things here because this requires, understanding some venues and what partnerships look like. But that's also community building in and of itself, right? The planning of it. Talk a little bit about that because clearly, when you're just coming here, like, how do you put something like this together? How do you get the right venue? How do you know it's the right feel, right?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I think one of the things that has been most important to us with moving here and like being quote unquote a transient is immersing ourselves in the community and the great things that are already happening. So when we moved, even before we moved here, we were already researching like local nonprofits, who were the trailblazers, had definitely heard of Converge before we even moved here. And so we're very intentional about our research and just looking at various venues and businesses. And again, it was just really important for us to see like what's already happening on the ground and like how can we not reinvent the wheel, but just amplify and uplift what's already happening. And so moving here and just like even our first few events, we were like, okay, what are the local businesses that are close to where we live? As far as missions, what nonprofit organizations have we already somewhat tapped into that could use some support? And so I think ongoing what has helped is just as we're meeting new people, as we're, watching media outlets like Converge or like seeing you guys on social media, we do our due diligence to either reach out on Instagram or if we're at an event that's not our own or if it is our own, we're always trying to see like, who can we connect with and how? And in what ways can we help uplift the good that's already being done? And one that comes to mind, which I'm really excited about, is Art Noir. So we just had a silent disco with them, which again is a very unique style event. You have the music going through your headphones. But like learning Jasmine's story, her mom's story, and just the rich culture that they have being from Seattle, the way that we connected was so natural, but also so intentional. So we were actually at Medier, again, another Black-owned business, where we were they're celebrating their second year anniversary, I think. For their Cherry Street location. And Taylor, one of their staff, had introduced us to Jasmine at Art Noir, and we just sat and chopped it up, like had a good old time. So one, not being specific to say like, oh, so what can we do for each other? Like, no, let's get to know each other. And then from that, we figure like, hey, let's figure out how we can partner. So we had one event down, which was 2 weekends ago. And then actually our next Vibes After 5 is going to be in the Midtown Square where Art Noir is at. And so I think for us, it's a mix of one, being intentional about relationship building, but then two, at the same time, we do have to be mindful about like venues. So you think about like capacities, parking, audio, visual, all kinds of things. Like those are things we do consider as well. So it's like being mindful that the space does help to curate a good experience, but then at the same time, truly making sure that there's a relationship there as well. Because I think it really hits different. Like it feels different when you're in a space just to be in a space versus being in a space that you have intentionally curated. And I think for us also, like, I mentioned like the first event was 75 people, and that was a joy to us, like seeing that. But for us, it's never really about like numbers. Like at the end of the day, if we can connect two people, like our mission is done. Like making sure that we really are bringing joy, bringing connection, bringing that intentionality to people that we probably haven't even met before is like our goal at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that the relationship piece that you mentioned is most important, I think, because somebody can have a dope venue with everything you need there, but if their intentions don't align with yours, it's not going to work. Somebody can have a venue that may not be 100% ideal, for what you're trying to do, but having that relationship with them being aligned to your goal, you can make it work. You can absolutely make that work. One of the things that we both are really big on, and I definitely want to stress that, having the conversations with people without a motive there, just, I want to get to know you. I want to know who you are and what you're about. That helps us that helps us first stay aligned and prioritize like where we're trying to go with it. But you know, second, I mean, ultimately, we just want to meet good people.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't care about what people's titles are or what resources they have, what they can do for me. If they're a good person and they're just somebody that's like, hey, I love what you're doing, you know, I understand and I believe in it. Like, that's somebody that is worth knowing no matter what. Even if that's not somebody that could ever do anything for us or that we could ever do anything for. It's worth knowing good people just because of how that relationship makes you feel deep down and what it does for your soul relating to people on that level. It always strengthens you in the right ways at the right times. I had somebody, I was out last night and had somebody that was just, and we often have this happen, somebody just speaking life into what we're doing, you know, and I'm like, to me, I'm not one that takes compliments very well, you know, and I'm just like, wow, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But then when you realize you have an impact on people who are just, again, truly trying to align with what you're doing and believe in it and feel like, you know, they've seen some benefit from it. It makes a difference and it makes it easier to keep doing, you know, so that's, you know, what I think is most important, the people. You know?
I love that. I mean, y'all are so inspiring. Of course, you know, I need to get out to one of these events. I keep on hearing about it, and my schedule, it's going to align soon. But I want to make sure we give y'all time. Y'all are going to look in the camera here. This one. Look in the camera. This one right here. And let folks know how they tap in.
Absolutely. So I think first and foremost, to tap in with Sync Seattle, give us a follow on Instagram, sync.seattle. So that's sync.seattle. And then also follow us on Eventbrite, because if you do either of those two things, you'll automatically get notified about events. But you want to speak about the events coming up?
Yeah. So actually on the 28th, next Sunday, that's our Sunday Fun Day. We do Sunday Fun Day the last Sunday of every month. We haven't put the tickets out yet, but I'll let you all know what we're doing. Since the Olympics are coming up, we're doing an Olympic theme. So we're doing the Sync Olympics. So it's going to be fun games like, well, we'll have spades there as one of the events. You can get a gold medal in spades. We're going to have cornhole. We'll have Jenga, things like that we can do right there in that space. You get gold, silver, or bronze at that. After that, on August 4th, we have, again, the kayak and kickback. I'm looking forward to that because I keep hearing how much fun kayaking is. I've never been, and I intentionally want it to be my first time going. It's your first time kayaking too, so it's going to be our first time kayaking. So don't be afraid. We're going to be learning as well for that. That's August 4th, and then the next event after that we have on the books is our Vibes After 5. The third Thursday of every month. That's again going to be at the Midtown Public Square. It's going to be a big community event this time. Like, we want the networking component of it, but we're looking to invite community organizations out. We want to mobilize these causes, get people involved. We're also going to have a voter registration component of it. This is a very important year with voting, and so we want to make sure that we are mobilizing people as well and letting them know how serious this year is. So those are the next 3 things that we have coming up.
Oh, well, thank y'all so much for making time today. It's been such a pleasure to have y'all on. And just know, now y'all are family with the Day with Trae and with me. So anytime y'all have some dope events and y'all are like, yo, let's come back, let's talk about this new angle we're taking or whatever, please do not hesitate to come back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. This is amazing, and we really appreciate you and your platform so much.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all as well. Keep doing it, man. Keep rocking. You're putting on for the culture. We appreciate it. Oh my gosh, y'all. What a great way to start the week. I get to wrap all of this greatness up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Humani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Humani here. See you guys in a few.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to my guests, Derrick and Tanise Love with Sing Seattle. What an inspiring story, right? They came here, they were experiencing community and decided to do something that brought that out for others who weren't able to experience it. And it is inspiring to hear that they were like, you know, if we have 30 people, we're successful. And they more than doubled that with 75 people on their first event. But y'all know I'm just inspired by their story. I want you to be inspired and be encouraged, because you too can be a part of the solution, as they showed us they are here today. Doesn't matter if you're from here or not. When you are pouring into community, we all feel it. So I want to thank y'all for watching today. You know me, I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, at 11 a.m., y'all, peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.